Hi friends, it's Nancy and I'm here to do a final flip through of this junk journal that I made using the cover of an 1890s ledger. Now I believe the ledger was from like a general store sort of thing. Like I said, the earliest date I could find in here was 1896. I'll show you as we go through, but the types of things that were purchased was like flour, baking powder, currants, raisins, lots of grocery type items. So keeping that in mind, that determined how I decorated some of these pages. I kept the original spine, so it's a narrow little thing. It's only 3/4 of an inch wide. The back and the front are the original covers, and I have sealed them. I love the wear pattern on this journal, but you can use it without worrying that you're going to shatter it more than it already is. Look how rounded this is. And again, it's been sealed with an acrylic sealant, so you're in good shape. This book plate is a little collage that I made using Tim Holtz fabrics, a little bit of handmade tatting, and this book plate. So I've got it closed with a little bit of vintage seam binding. Just remove that for now. So let's get started on the flip through. Now, here on the original inside is the way it looked. This was a ledger, and here it had the name of a customer, maybe it was Andy Gibson, and a little bit of a notation there, and the back as well. This was Arthur Gibson. So I kept these, and they've also been sealed with an acrylic sealant. And but in order to put the signature in, and this is a curved hidden hollow back spine, in order to put that in, I did need to glue in some fabric and paper, so that's why I've used this Tim Holtz paper to cover that up. I think it matches well, doesn't stand out too badly, and there's lines like you would have in a ledger, so I'm happy with that. I really went to town on the forms, like vintage forms that I have in my collection, and I'll show you. So this is ledger paper that I've tea dyed, and you can see on the front that I laid some plastic lace on it to give it sort of a lacy effect. And in my last video, I made a bunch of these little collages that I thought would meet with the theme quite well. So here is a lady of the era, and she's wearing a green blouse to match the green paper. And she's advertising shortening to make her pie. And this is like a hand truck, so to bring in parcels, that sort of thing. I stitched on a little bit of Tim Holtz fabric there just to decorate. This is vintage ledger. I love it when it has the little number there. This I believe this came from a 1910-ish sort of ledger. Here is a tea dyed paper doily, and I've just tucked this photo of these gentlemen playing lawn bowling, and it's this is genuine ephemera, so I've just tucked that in here in this space. This is scrapbook paper that I've tea dyed, so the back is colored and textured, and here's another little vintage book. This paper here is from an antique book, like the fly leaf, the pattern fly leaf. This is this little calling card. It was cut from a book. This is from I believe it was a 1911 ladies magazine, and just some craft paper in the back to make this little collage. This Yeah, I'm just checking to see you can see the pattern on this. This piece of vellum came from a vintage photo album, and I've stitched it onto a Edith Holden page. Here's one of those forms that I talked about. Some of the forms were a little too white, so I grunged them up with a bit of ink, just to sort of take that sharp, bright, bleached white off. This is scrapbook paper. Again, it's been tea dyed. Another form. This is paper from a vintage stamp album. Some ledger. Two kinds of ledger, actually, that I stitched together to make a page big enough. On this page, this is a glassine envelope, and inside this is not a printout. This is an actual soda label for sarsaparilla, and I've just tucked that into this glassine envelope that is stitched to the back of the Edith Holden page, and inside is tucked in this instructions about how to can certain vegetables. I'm not sure where it came from, but you would buy your canning supplies, I suppose, at this general store. And more Edith Holden. This is another little collage that I made. So, like, this little piece of paper here was from the original ledger. So it talks about coffee, sugar, oatmeal, more oatmeal. Here is the back of that tea-dyed doily, and I've just tucked this piece of old music in. It's called the Peanuts song. I thought, well, you'd buy peanuts at the the general store. Here I just stitched on a piece from a vintage encyclopedia, and took a little piece from a notebook and stitched that all on, so you can flip that out and add some notes. Or I like how that turned out. Here's another instance where I have sewn together two papers in order to make a page big enough. And I also stitched on this vintage envelope. It's a business window envelope. So this was for a furniture store in Winnipeg. And inside is another piece of vintage ephemera. So this was so the Registrar General, when a minister married a couple and submitted the registration, then the Registrar General would mail back this card to say, I received the marriage registration. So this one was for June 1918. So I tucked this in this way so that the signature would show in that window. This form. This is a piece of vellum that has roses, stripes, and roses printed on it. Here's another little collage that we made in the previous video. Some graph paper. This is some graph paper and another little collage. This letter is from 1907, and you'll see the stamp on it is for Newfoundland. So Newfoundland didn't become part of Canada until after World War II. I believe it was 1947. So Newfoundland issued its own postage. So this was St. John's, and here is an envelope that is sealed. It's sealed shut, so it can either be, opened or used the way it is, and it can be tucked behind or into the little tuck spot there. And I've stitched it onto this page from a vintage book about birds. Some more scrapbook paper. I believe This is, I want to say Sanskrit, but I'm not 100% sure. And I tea-dyed this book. I got a whole book of this text, and I think it's gorgeous, just gorgeous. This is some ledger paper. This is some stationery, some vintage stationery. And I stitched some of this copy paper on the bottom. And if you wanted to, you could, we could tuck something in there, or you could even slide something in that spot if you wanted to. This is a little envelope. You can tuck something behind there. These are tuck spots as well, if that's how you wanted to use them. And I made this little collage. And if you flip it open, there is a vintage document in here from 1910, I believe. So, yeah, so it has a notary. Oh, I gotta stop because he's singing again. I don't even know why I try when he's home. Anyway, so there's a seal. And this is the state of New Jersey. I love how the ink is turned brown on these documents. So I've just, and the back is completely blank, so it could be used for writing on. And I've just got that tucked in there. Another little collage. Here's that bird book again. I love this one. This form is for tracking weather. Some music manuscript paper, and I just sewed on a little piece of Tim Holtz fabric here, sort of this blue ticking. It's pretty. This is some stenographer's paper. And this is from a journal, a gardening journal, I think. More scrapbook paper. This is just some craft paper that I've stitched on to this form. And so you can open it up. This is copy paper. I love this color. It is not authentically old, so I've grunched it up a bit with some ink. However, this envelope here, the date, I believe, was 1904. Yes, 1904. And this is a letter that I got in some stuff. So it, I mean, you can tuck it in behind, or I've also put a little thumb hole here so you can tuck some stuff in. This is a piece of airmail paper, and I have stitched on these pieces of vintage encyclopedia. So this form is for a pharmacy to register narcotic sales. I thought that was interesting. I had to trim a bit off to make it fit, but some more genuine ledger and another envelope. This one is 1867, and it's from the Manhattan Life Insurance Company in New York. So this can be used as a tuck spot, in and out. I sewed this statement to the end of this steno paper. So you could, if you wanted to, tuck something in there. I didn't. Another little form. And here is our final page of music manuscript paper. So that is my antique ledger. If you are interested in purchasing this junk journal, it is now on my Etsy. I put the link in the description. And I also wanted to tell you about 2 other journals. So this one I listed last Sunday, and it's not sold. So I have significantly reduced the price. And I'll leave a link to the flip through for this masculine journal that has 308 pages of goodness. And I also have this travel themed journal. Remember, I listed 3 of these at the same time. So this is the blue one, and it has all kinds of handmade ephemera in here. Alrighty, and really cute charms. So if you're interested in either of those journals, they have they remain on my Etsy, and the price has been reduced. All right, so that's all I had to share for today. I hope you're doing well. I hope to talk to you again tomorrow. Take care.